Hey guys, welcome to Timeless Mysteries Live Edition. Today we're going to be talking about a missing person. I've got with me today Klein Williams. He is an advocate for the family who's been searching for their missing loved one over the years. And if we can, TJ Ward, who's a private investigator, is supposed to be here to help us talk about the case a little bit and see, um, you know, what we can, you know well, actually, let me just go through this real quick. So we're revisiting a disappearance. This person disappeared from Atlantic City, New Jersey, in November of 2002. She was just 19 years old. She had a daughter and a sister and a mother that she was close with. And her boyfriend at the time said that he saw her with another man, and basically there was no other leads and no investigation really, and nobody knows what happened to her. So it's really kind of mysterious. It's really, for me, not knowing anything about the case, it just screams like something happened to her and they should find her. Um, Klein, I'll just go ahead and let you talk.
Yeah, how's everybody out there? I'm Klein Williams, and I am the founder of Mr. Black People. Sierra's case was brought upon me. I'll say about 3 or 4 years ago. I found it on another page, and I started doing research, and I ended up finding her daughter because she commented on one of the posts. So we ended up doing a podcast, and then we started doing more posts on Facebook and on different pages, and we stayed in contact. And she appeared on one of our podcasts. We have a podcast on YouTube, Missing Black People, the Forgotten. We have a 12 part podcast on there. Sierra went missing on November 21st, 2002, in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, she was going to visit her youngest child's father, Robert Dutch Taylor. He lives in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Now, if you live in Atlantic City, New Jersey, everybody calls that the back block of Maryland, the back block of Maryland Avenue. That's what they call it. So she went there. She gets dropped off by her sister. Her sister said, "Hey, I'm gonna be in the area. Call me when you're done. I'm gonna go pay a couple bills. Call me when you're done, and I'll come and get you." So sister leaves and she goes and she never gets this call. So she's wondering, why she didn't get this call. So she calls him and he says, "Oh, Sierra left with she left with a man and they walked up the street somewhere." So the sister was like, "Left with a man? Nah, she went to your house. She never came out." So that was that. The next day comes upon. Still nobody heard about her from Sierra. So at first he was willing to go with her to the police. Then all that just changed. So they eventually started going to the sister. Eventually ended up going. I think it was the sister, but it was the mother who ended up actually was able to file the missing person report. So it's a whole it's a whole web. But she was last seen going into Robert's house, but she didn't come out, and it started a big beef between the families because they knew that he knew something had happened to Sierra, but he didn't say anything. He lived there with his mother. Nobody said anything. And after Sierra passed, I'm sorry, I'm gonna say passed. After she went missing, he was able to get their youngest daughter and keep her. And I think they lived in the area probably like a few more years, and then they moved to Las Vegas, Nevada. And for these last 23 years, Sierra Thomas has been missing. She was 19 when she went missing. You know, young mother. She had a 4-year old at the time, and she also had like a 2-year old. She had two kids. Her oldest daughter, Sanai, remembers a little bit about her, but the youngest daughter doesn't know anything. Robert, he like I said, he resides in Las Vegas. he has a history with women. I have talked to several different women that had actually left the area because of him, because of how dangerous that he can be. A couple of women have reached out to me. They said that they were scared to death of him, and he's just living his life. And Sierra's just been missing all these years. We keep her, we try to keep her memory alive and posted her constantly on Missing Black People on Facebook all the time. If I get updates, I'll reach out to Sanai and say, "Hey, I'm doing a new flyer for your mom. She'll okay it." Right now, I'm in the process of doing an avatar for her that'll also tell her story. I just want to get her story told out there as much as I can because nobody has ever talked about these type of cases. And her case is the one type of case that should have, I believe, should have been solved by now, or at least more attention should have been brought to the case.
Yeah,
Nothing has been said. Nobody knows about this case. And the only reason why they know is because I've been on different platforms advocating for Sierra's case. And I've been
yeah.
doing it for. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The first thing that comes to my mind whenever I like, we were like talking back and forth about it, and I was trying to figure out if I was even getting the right case. There's just like a blurb like this,
Hmm.
about the case, and I'm like, I don't know how we can talk about that if there's no information. It's really odd. And if you think about it from, you know, the police point of view, maybe what they thought originally was that she did just leave with somebody else, right? And if that was true, she would have showed up. She would have
Yes.
came home with the new guy eventually. It sounds like she was pretty close to her family, so it just makes no sense to me that she would just disappear and, not show up ever. And now it's been over 20 years, what, 23 years you just said, right?
Yes.
Um,
23 years.
that's insane. So something happened to her and nobody's been able to find her. And I think that's got to be insanely difficult for the family, and I mean, I know almost next to nothing about this case, and it just screams something happened. One thing I was wondering about was if the boyfriend at the time moved to Las Vegas. I think he moved with the daughter, right? So what does the daughter say about him?
Well, I know. I'm gonna tell you what last I had heard. They weren't speaking at the time, but I don't know if that's has changed now. See, he was able to get away with so much because one, they never went to the house. They never thought to search because one, they didn't have any they didn't have any reason to think a crime had occurred. So they never searched those apartments. When the sister tried to hang out missing person outside the mom's house, they had him taken down. They called the police saying they're harassing them because they know something was going on. Um, yeah, that's just. And then then years later, people told her sister, that they heard like what sounded like a thud in the house, like a shot had been, like a shot had gone off. Yes, you heard so many. It was so many rumors, but nobody didn't say anything. So many people. But if she know, I know, and a lot of people know that somebody knows what happened to her, even down to his mother, because he lived with his mother at the time. Something happened to Sierra. She's not missing. Okay, she's not gonna walk through the door someday, and I think the family has kind of like accepted that because it's been so long. She was 19 years old with two kids, and I did so much research and talked to so many of her friends and people that knew her. They told me she was like the most beautiful soul inside and out. And the videos that I have of her, home videos when she was like 16 or 17, she's smiling and laughing on the camera. You see nothing but joy in this young mother's face. So I can honestly say that no, I don't think she's still alive. I just think the most important part is for her family is bringing her home for a proper burial. And the only person that knows about that is Robert. You know, he's the only one.
Yeah, that's insane to me. Like I just can't even imagine. Like if the police originally thought, well, there was no reason to suspect this guy, that there was no reason to think there's foul play. But now it's been so much time. Like you would think that after the first year, something would have changed in their perspective on this guy. But then they let him leave the city. And, I can't imagine why they would make you take down the missing person. I mean, if she's a missing person, that just sounds horrible to me. I can't even imagine.
Yes, there's so much that they discussed in this whole thing. He lawyered up, immediately, and like I said, there were other women. If there was ever, him being on trial or something, if they ever were looking for other women, there would be a list that would be ready to testify against him because one woman put it to he was pure evil, and another woman moved away completely to get away from him. This is how bad they say he was. And I was looking for a picture of him for years because what he would do is he would come on social media, make pages, and then he would delete them. So no picture of him has ever existed. I mean, nowhere. I searched head high heels for 3 years. Well, I finally got lucky 2 months ago. Someone found a picture of him. So I do have a picture of Robert Dutch Taylor. And this dude looks like he's evil. I believe everything that everybody said about him. I just hope that one day that he Sierra gets her justice for him because I know he did something to her. There's no other way clear cut to put this story. She went in your house. She went in your house and she never came out. You know, your mother know. I just want to know what have you been telling your daughter for these last 23 years? What have you said to your daughter when she asks, "Daddy, where's my mommy?" Or how do
Mhm.
you actually live with yourself to know that you've done something to the mother of your daughter? There's some people out here though. It's easy for them. It's easy for them to live like that. I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I can't imagine that. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind is, this is a missing person case, and it just seems counterproductive to assume, that the basic, like, just to assume that the boyfriend did it could be, wrong. We don't know for sure, but I mean, I agree it does seem likely, but I think if you're looking at it from an investigative point, what if he didn't do it? You know what I mean? What if he didn't do it? What if he doesn't know anything? And, what if that was the case? You know what I mean?
I went over this 1,000 times too, and there's just there's just it's just too much information. Like you said, you don't know too much about the case, but um, if I could actually get her sister back, matter of fact, I'm gonna find my podcast because I think it was on Spotify. My first podcast, they were one of the first podcasts I did. I had to put that together, and so to actually let the sister, let them hear the sisters talk,
Yeah,
and
sure. Definitely.
you know, after they get done, then they'll make their own assumptions. But it's for everybody that knew her is clear cut. Everybody in that small town of Atlantic City that I've talked to, and you're right. We shouldn't make assumptions, but I'm not going past Robert.
I totally get it. But I bring it up only because, like, there's so many cases out there that have happened over the years where
Mm-hmm.
people, the public, come up with this, like, scenario that's
Mm-hmm.
plausible, that sounds like this is it. We know this is the case. This is
Mm-hmm.
why this has happened, and then
Mm-hmm.
all of a sudden, there's a different story.
Right,
Like
but
the
right.
one case that I talk about a
Mm-hmm.
lot that actually happened was the Golden State Killer. He was the serial killer from California who
Mm-hmm.
killed people in the, like, 70s and 80s.
Mm-hmm.
And there was this couple. One of them was an attorney. One was an interior designer. This killer would go through and he would tie them up, torture them, and then they would die. Uh, but this particular case was weird because this lawyer was on the verge of becoming an attorney. So there was this massive conspiracy that it was some criminal like organization that took him out, and then the wife was tied up. I'm sorry, I'm having issues with TJ's trying to get in, but he can't. I don't know how else to. It's giving him a message that he needs to connect with Facebook or YouTube. I am sorry I had to get interrupted, but hopefully you can find that video. And if you post a link to it in the private chat there, I can link it here.
Matter of fact, yeah, I'll find it as like while we're talking. Let's see. I'll get it for you.
I might try calling TJ on speakerphone and at least see what's going on. I feel bad for him. I wish I could help. I've never had anybody like this is StreamYard. It doesn't require you to be signed in to access it.
It doesn't. So maybe he might just have difficulty on his end.
Yeah. Here, let me send him a link to the stream, and then I can post. I mean, maybe if I can at least get him in the chat here.
So I'm going to post the whole Forgotten podcast in the link, and in that they can find the
Yeah, I
one
can
with
share
Sierra.
that.
Okay, I got that in there.
All right, just give me a sec. Sorry.
Okay, I got it. Here we go. Okay.
Oh man, I don't know what's going on. I just tried to share the video thing here, and it's go through and he would tie. There we go. That's weird. I have no share. Ah, there it is. There you guys can see. I'm trying to just click the video link, and then you should be in the video chat for the live stream. Sorry, I'm doing a voice to text here, guys. And if that don't work, I'll give them a call. And then I'll post the link here in our chat for the guest to join.
Yeah, you gonna put the link in there? Okay, yeah, I'll take that.
So anybody could technically join at this point with that link, but hopefully TJ can get in here. So I'm going to pull up the link that you sent.
Okay.
Is it the first link or the second link?
Let me see the link. It's the after the Mr. Black People, the Forgotten. It says it should be City HTTP. Yeah, it should be the second one. No, the first one. Yeah.
Okay, I think I found it. It's an hour long.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If there's like a spot in here you think you want me to skip to, we can do that too. But
actually, no. You actually, I'm not sure, but I know when we first come on, we played a whole. They played a podcast. They played a podcast of that particular episode.
Okay. Let's see. That looks like it's going to work. Let me see what happens.
She's a wild card in the shadows where the secrets guard. True crime tales.
My Doodlebug.
Arctic, you are more than welcome to come up if you want to. I sent you the link. I know we're playing your stuff, so you probably have some insight that'll make it easier for Klein also to kind of put the story out. So Klein, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and I will play Arctics.
Yeah.
Good?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, let's do that.
This is the part you want me to play?
Oh, let's see. This should be it right here. Maybe she start. I think she start there.
What's going
Hopefully.
on, guys? This is Arctic Fox.
Oh, now you can
Welcome
skip this.
to the channel. Today we are diving
Okay.
into yet another cold case and shining the light on it. Today's case dates back to 2002 when a young lady named Sierra Sahara Thomas would disappear out of Atlantic City, New Jersey. And her family has never given up hope. Now, at the time that she went missing, Sierra was only 19 years old, and she would be 41 years old today in 2024. This is a very, very sad case, guys, and unfortunately, there's just not a ton of information on it. So, Sierra Sahara Thomas was known as Sweetie, and she vanished on the 21st of November 2002 after after her sister drove her to visit her daughter's father near the 800 block of North Maryland Avenue in Atlantic City, New Jersey. She was just 19 years old at the time of her disappearance and had her whole life ahead of her. She had told her sister that she would call when she was ready to leave, but her sister never received the call, and her sister reportedly stayed in the area for over an hour waiting on Sierra to call her. Reportedly, Sierra's boyfriend, whose name I'm going to just keep anonymous for the time being for his privacy, met up with her on the day of her disappearance. Now, he has always maintained that he does not know where she went after their encounter, and he has stated that she was accompanied by an adult male friend. She only had $33 in cash in her pocket at the time of her disappearance, and so she wouldn't have really been able to travel all that far without help from somebody. After she failed to show up to her job at a popular hotel and casino, Caesars, located at 2100 Pacific Avenue in Atlantic City, suspicions grew even further. Sierra was also enrolled in a course to obtain her high school diploma, which she also ceased to attend upon her disappearance. When she went missing, Sierra was wearing blue sweatpants, a dark-colored shirt, a scarf, and a black guest jacket. If alive today, she would be 41 years old. She did leave children behind, and she has a family that loves her and misses her dearly. It has now been over 20 years since she disappeared, and her family and friends are desperately seeking answers and closure as to what happened to their missing loved one. If you do have any information on Sierra or her whereabouts, you're asked to get in contact with the Atlantic City Police Department at 609-318-4450 and mention their case number 02-158598. Ask for Detective Charles Stuart when contacting, and you can also contact the FBI at 800-634-4097. Guys, this young lady has been missing for far too long. She's been missing for 22 years at this point. And unfortunately, like I said, it's one of those cases that really never garnered a lot of media coverage, and the case has gone cold. We need to shine a light on it. So do me a huge favor and smash that like button. Let's get Sierra's face out there all over social media. Let's generate some interest in her case and get her name into the YouTube algorithm. Also, if you're not subscribed to the channel yet, consider clicking that subscribe button. It does help the channel out. And if you ring that notification bell, you'll always be alerted whenever I post another missing persons video. The most important thing that I need for everyone to do right now, though, is to simply click that share button. Share this to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, wherever you have social media. It only takes a moment of your time to do, and it can make all the difference in the world in whether we're able to find answers for Sierra's family and friends or not. As always, guys, I do want to thank you so much for tuning in and watching. I appreciate each and every single one of you. Y'all be kind to one another out there, and I'll see you soon in the next one.
All right. What'd you think about that, Klein?
I thought that was awesome. I think
Yeah.
he did an awesome job covering covering her case.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff like that. So yeah, so I did ask him, I did send him the link. I didn't think he would mind since he did go through all the trouble to do that. And he is really, really good about this. He does a lot of the cold cases. I'm not sure that it'll come up, but Arctic, you're more than welcome to. But do you want me to play the little podcast first, Klein, or would you rather just go ahead and try to tell them from your side since because you're like hands on here?
Okay, I'll tell him from this side.
Okay.
So basically, what Arctic was saying in the video of how she went to her youngest child's father. His name is Robert. Everybody knows this. She went to his house that night to see him, right? And her sister Stephanie said, let me know when you're ready. So she goes and does what she's doing. She paying her bills and all that. And like I said, she's waiting for that call for Sierra to call her and say, okay, I'm ready. She never called her. So she went back to the house, Robert's house, where he stayed with his mother at the time on the back block of Maryland Avenue. And she said, hey, where's Sierra? He said, oh, she was out there walking away with a guy. And Stephanie thought that was strange because why would she be out there with another guy when she came to see you? And from there, I think that was like on a Friday. So by that Monday, when she didn't show up at work or anything like that, that's when the alarm started setting in. And then that's when I think she was reportedly missing. And like Arthur says, it's a heartbreaking case. She's been missing for 22 years. This case never got any attention at all, even though everybody sort of knows who has a hand in it and they know who she was last seen with. It hasn't gotten any attention at all. Like nobody has touched the case. And I find it kind of strange because this is one of the cases that could have been open and shut had it been properly investigated, but it just wasn't really investigated. So if you look into like the searching on YouTube um or search engines, there's not really a lot of information on Sierra's case. But over the last few years, since I've been posting and other people have been posting it too, more and more people have known who she is. And a lot of her friends who were sharing the story didn't know that was her mother till recently. And they were like astonished, like, oh my God, I've really been, covering your mom's case for all these years. I didn't know this was her. So it's like I said, again, it's unfortunate because she left behind two children, a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. The 4-year-old's name is Sinai, and the 1-year-old's name is Mayana. Now, after she goes missing, her sister Stephanie is on this crusade, to try to find her. She posted missing person flyers. She's posted something about his house too. Him and his mother are taking these flyers down.
Oh,
Yeah, that's not a red flag. Either.
Right,
Big
right.
red flag, and they call the cops on and say, hey, they're harassing us, and so they tell Stephanie, you can't be hanging flyers on their door and stuff like that. So years later, he stayed in Atlantic City for like I'm gonna say 5 or 6 years more, and then he moved with her youngest daughter Mayana to Las Vegas, where I'm pretty sure he still resides. But yeah, he's the only person that's been an interest in the case. And when the police did question him, at first he acted like he wanted to cooperate, but then he refused to. He lawyered up and stuff like that, and he wouldn't take a polygraph.
He
So
wouldn't take a polygraph, and
no,
oh wow,
and
like
he
that's
lawyered up.
not a huge red flag, right?
Yes, this is a huge flag, and I really feel for the daughter because all these years, both the daughters, all these years, not knowing, who their mom is. The oldest one remembers her, a little bit, even though she was 4, but it really bothers her that she never got the relationship or got to know who her mother was.
Of course,
She,
and then not even get justice on top of
yes,
that. That's got to be overwhelming, really.
and like I said before we started talking, I hadn't never heard a thing about the case either. I hadn't heard anything. I found the case, on Facebook like everybody else when I first started doing these cases, and I just got like very interested. I'm like, let me see if I can reach out to the family, and I reached out to them from that day. You know, I keep in contact with them. I let them know when I'm doing new things, new podcasts, and new videos. They always give me their blessings. You know, they thank me for continuing to keep on with the case. I told them, I never stop. I keep until we
And
find
see,
out.
that's exactly how I am too, because we put our hearts in this, and Fox is the same way. Like, we put our hearts in this because there's so many that don't get coverage, and it's just not right. I mean, justice should be for everyone, not for just certain people. And we see that so much. It has to stop.
Right. And
Exactly.
also years later, after she went missing, this is when the rumors start coming out. Now, supposedly somebody said that they heard them arguing in the house and they heard a thud, like a gunshot. And somebody
Oh,
also said
okay.
it was different things, like different rumors coming out, like they carried her somewhere. And I know he lived closer to the water, but I don't think he would do that out there. The risk of getting caught at where he stayed at, but like yeah, somebody said it that he killed her in the house. But 22 years and still no body. Nobody has ever been found. And I don't
Right.
honestly don't. I don't think anybody even really searched. For her. They probably just like, okay, well, we'll search, but I don't think there was really a search for her, like no dogs or anything like that that ever, come
See,
out of it.
that's so heartbreaking. I mean, come on. Uh, mm,
And
it's just not right.
this guy, he has women to this day literally scared of him. You hear me? Because he was something.
Gotcha, gotcha. So
Yes,
what
yes.
kind of neighborhood is this? Because like I'm in the St. Louis area. So for me, I mean, it's common for us to hear gunshots. Is
hmm
it somewhere like someone knew that it was close and in that house, or could it just be gunshots in the area?
Well, see, that's kind of hard to say because I think, like I said, they didn't say anything till years later, and when they started saying stuff about years later, they said they heard the thud, and the person who heard it, of course, they're not going to repeat it to the police. I don't. That's another thing I understand too. When people they have information, because I believe in my heart that somebody out there has the information of what happened to her. They just haven't come forward.
Well,
It ain't
sometimes they don't come forward because it's not safe for them either. And
right.
especially that's why I asked about the neighborhood because
Well, it's an urban
from my
neighborhood.
past work, I saw so many that just couldn't. They wanted to tell the truth. They did. They wanted to do the right thing, but they knew that they had a family to protect and they couldn't.
That's true. That's true. That that is true. But I just think that he knows exactly what happened. Hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Hold on.
I can hear.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, now
Okay.
you should be able to hear me. I can hear you. So I got TJ he's on speakerphone because I can't seem we're having technical problems with StreamYard today. Apparently it's just not working right. But TJ is a private detective. TJ, can you just talk a little bit about how long you've been a private detective and how many missing person cases you've covered over the years?
I've been. Can you hear me? My name's TJ Ward. You look at my website. It's tjwardpi.com. I've been in business 44 years. I'm a former law enforcement officer.
And when somebody goes missing, how often do the police kind of disregard the missing person as an actual something happened to them? Like like how often does that happen?
Well, you have to understand law enforcement. They're extremely busy, and if there's not really a big push for trying to find somebody. Then they're overwhelmed by work. So some things kind of gradually go away. It depends if the media was out involved in it.
As far as I can tell, the media wasn't involved with this case at all.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all.
That's one of the case needs to get right now.
So this woman has been missing for 23 years. What is the likelihood that she's actually alive somewhere, living a secret life?
What I would do is I would start running financial information on her, intelligence network with her name or date of birth, and see what comes up.
To see if maybe she's got credit cards or something like that. Like,
yes, exactly. You start running background.
So after 23 years, how difficult is it to get the media involved in a case like this?
If you got somebody like Nancy Rogers,
To Nancy Rogers?
if you get Nancy Grace or somebody like that, it would really try to expose and bring her out. No, Nancy Grace.
Yeah, I know Klein, if you can hear him, he's been advocating for this family. He's in good contact with the family. We were going to try to get the daughter to join us today too, Sierra's daughter, but I guess she wasn't available. But he's been trying to get this case seen more, so somebody will do something and try to find her.
If they would send me the information on the person.
Yes.
I will see if I can conduct a basic search and see if I can find information on her in my intelligence network.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
I can send you. He can send it to me. I can send it to you. I think I sent you the little flyer from the FBI website, and there's like almost. Let me see if I can find it real quick. There's almost no information on her at all. And where is it? That if you can see it on the screen there, it's the ViCAP alert for the missing person. That's all the information I could find whenever I started looking for her.
Right.
And it just screams to me that somebody should be investigating this,
Is that her name, Sierra?
Yeah, Sierra Sahara Thomas.
Sierra Sahara.
Sahara. Yeah, I said that wrong. Sahara. Sierra Sahara.
Okay.
And Klein, what was the boyfriend's last name? Robert what?
Robert Dutch Taylor.
Her boyfriend at the time, his name was Robert Dutch Taylor.
Yes.
Why don't you, Robert, Bob, send me an email. It's hard for me to look at this.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. I'm
actually about to put the link to. I'm gonna put the Spotify link in the comments now.
Klein,
send me an email with the boyfriend, and send me an email on her, the date of birth, last known address, so on and so forth.
Okay. Yeah, I'll get all that information for you. I won't make you stay on here. I think it's kind of difficult since you can't actually join.
Yeah, it's double playing, and I'm hearing my voice about 30 seconds after I talk.
Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. Even like this, I'm not sure why there's a problem, but I appreciate you coming on, helping me out at the last minute too, and I'm sure
Oh, no problem.
client appreciates that too. Um, but I'll send you all that information, and maybe we'll try to redo this again in a couple weeks or something.
That sounds good.
All right, thank you, TJ.
All right, buddy. Bye.
Bye. So, guys, that was TJ Ward. I'm sorry we're having such a bad day with technical problems. It looks like Klein just disappeared. I was gonna ask him if he had any questions for TJ before TJ left. It was really cool that TJ is so helpful. I'll put a link to his website. I believe he started a YouTube also. He's a very very good, well-known private investigator, and he likes to find a way to like help people, and that, I mean, he's just really a good guy. I like him a lot, and I hope Klein comes back, and so I could talk to him a little more before the stream. I don't know. I had a whole different thing planned for today, guys. Sorry. And it just, I'm having issues with like, Klein's back. Hey, Klein.
Hey, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Yeah. So I was going to ask if you had any questions for TJ while he was still here. But it was really difficult for him to hear because he's on speakerphone. So he's got like the video playing back and, all of that stuff. But, he said that he will, at least take an initial look at it. I just need to get like names and date of births and any information you can give me. I'll pass it along to him. And, we might have to try to have another stream, and maybe plan it better so that we can get TJ here to talk about the case too. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah, definitely. Any information with Sierra, yeah, I like you said, getting media involved. That's what's going to do it. We actually have someone also. I don't know if you guys heard of Gabby Loso. She's on YouTube.
I have not heard of her.
Okay,
That doesn't mean I haven't seen her channel because
Okay.
I do watch YouTube.
Yeah, she has a very big following, and she has covered a couple of cases where we've done collabos where she covered a couple of cases of mine where she did. She's doing Sierra soon too, I believe. Yes. So all the information, any information, yes, any information that you need, for about birth information, all that. I think this flyer in front of us have it. I'm not sure. If not, I can definitely get it. Cause
Yeah, I think TJ wanted like more information than just this document, and I think you probably have that. And we can, you can just email me that later. We don't have to
Okay.
do it right this second.
Gotcha.
But I know I asked you about his daughter that lived with him in Las Vegas. Like, I believe it was about 2 years. You said that after the disappearance, it was about 2 years that he decided to leave town and move to
No,
Las
it's about
Vegas.
6 years. About 6
6
years.
years? Okay.
He stayed in the area.
And so in 6 years that he was there, the police didn't investigate him. And I heard in the video that we were playing there that he wouldn't take a lie detector test. Why didn't the police investigate more? I mean, they just didn't have any evidence of any kind of foul play, or they just didn't have time. I mean, what do you think
I
happened?
honestly think that it's honestly the fact that the area where she's from is he say she say, and they just didn't investigate Robert at all. And I guess once he lured up, and they must have really didn't have anything. I like to say that they did investigate this case, but I don't think they did. I think Sierra's case is one of those cases that will end up, on a national news broadcast, and it'll be like, after all these years, and everything's right there. Because once people investigative people get on this case and they see stuff and they see what's going on, they'll pick it up. It's just that's just all they. Like I said, the media attention is one of the most important. And if you don't have that, you don't have nothing. And she didn't have none of that. She just had her sister and making up flyers. They went to a flyer place to get flyers, and they saw what they were doing, and she was gonna get 100. They made her 1,000. They gave the sister because they saw her making flyers of the sister missing, and they said, "Here, we'll make you these extra flyers for free." So that's about all the publicity that they really got.
Wow.
Nothing really. And like I said, when I found the case, it's just like it just struck a chord with me. And ever since then, I've just been keeping in contact with the family. Whenever I do podcasts or anything, I always, like I said, I always notify them. So like I was telling the daughter about the avatar. So they're going to bring in an avatar for him. Any kind of way that I can get her mother's case out there promoted and people can actually see and know her story and maybe somebody will latch on, I'm going to do it. And that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. So you advocate for this case. What other cases do you advocate for? Is it
Angela Darcel Cephas. She's a twin missing from Port North, New Jersey since May 4th, 1984. She was pregnant by an older man. Gregory Hickman been talking to her sister. We made some progress in that case. I advocate for Selena Mays. Uh, it's like it's so many. Risha Lewis. From my home state of Delaware. I'm from Wilmington, Delaware, so I advocate here for Risha Lewis. I'm gonna let everybody know Risha Lewis is the reason why missing black people even exist. She was the first missing persons case that I saw that where somebody was missing from like any part of Delaware, and it's like I really wanted to go up with it because I always watched the show when I was younger, but when I seen her case and she had like a little square box, like a 3.5 article. It's basically nothing.
Mhm.
And her case is similar to Sierra's because Risha's been missing for 19 years now. And same thing with her. No media attention. Okay. No family really said anything. I've just been pushing the information for years on Risha. Um, Jantel Johnson, she got some exposure too, but it's just like more media attention. Jantel's from Newark, Delaware. She was 15 and she was, I believe, 7 months pregnant when she went missing. It's so many. There's a lot of cold cases too where I've talked to family a lot. I've talked to over. I'm going to tell you at least 200 families. It might have been more. Might have
Wow.
been more.
You-
Daily, yes. A lot of my
it-
case. A lot of my cases that I put on missing black people, their family inbox me.
it's in this day and age right now. I mean, at the present, this happened in 2002. And so it was like the media thing was a little bit different. But nowadays, I think the media is intentionally trying to find people that they wouldn't, put these faces on the news that they wouldn't normally. I
Mm-hmm.
think that you have a good chance of getting this case seen by other people and investigated, and maybe actually find some answers. There is a Facebook group that I've joined where they I think it's called, I'm trying to see if I can find it. I probably won't be able to. Um, it's, I want to say like missing people from the Northeast or Rhode Island missing people, but it's a missing persons group. And there's just like in general, like we see like less than 1% of all the missing people out there. Like there's so many missing people and we barely hear about them at all. And, minorities have even less exposure. I live in Alaska and they've got this thing called the Alaska Triangle. There is so many missing people up here. I mean, it is scary to think that people could just go missing and nobody goes looking for them. I mean, when I do true crime, I typically talk about, when they find the victim's body somewhere. That's typically my story. But the more I've done it, the more like I've been interested in hearing about these cases like this one. It just breaks my heart that this woman, like, I mean, I found a couple other videos that I saw, and she just seems like an adorable person with a kind heart, somebody who's not going to just go away and leave their family behind and start over somewhere else. It just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. It doesn't. It hasn't made sense from the beginning. It didn't make sense when I finally came across the case, and even now, because it's just, and the daughter, she's always thinking about her mother, always. And it's like sometimes, what do you say? And I know sometimes family members, they do podcasts, they talk about these things. Sometimes you know, they get like overwhelmed and they don't want to do them. One thing I can say is that she has stuck in. When I messaged her and asked her to appear somewhere or say, "Hey, I'm gonna do this," she's been there, and she's trusted me, with everything. Because I'm telling you, like I posted her mother's story probably 100 times. See, I'm the type of page that if I post you, I'm gonna post you at least 3, 4 more times because that's just what we do. You don't just want to post a case one time because there's so many cases that are out there. And when I tell you there are like a lot of cases, a lot of cold cases that we're going to be like posting that people probably don't know about, yeah, they're coming. We're going to do a lot of that. But Sierra is just one of those cases that's just unique. It's like,
So I'm not interrupting you, but I just
no,
want
you're good.
I found the group that you might want to reach out to them. They
Okay.
cover cases primarily in the Northeast, and they have, they're just random people.
Okay.
They do this in their free time. I've talked to one person who participates in actively in finding people. And I've been trying to get her on my show. But she's got a family and she works, so it's really hard. But I've been following the group for a while, and I think they do a lot of good. And there's other groups like that one on Facebook, guys. And there are people who are missing for like other reasons. Maybe nothing, like nobody dragged them out of their house and like hurt them, but
Yeah.
they could be missing for other reasons. And I mean, those people all deserve to be found. There's people who care about these people and they're missing. And TJ mentioned, I don't know how well you guys could hear him, but he said that the police don't typically try to avoid searching for someone. It's just that they've got so many cases open and not enough manpower to cover everything, so they try to find the cases. Like whenever this case was brought to them, they probably did the initial whatever they needed to do. But when there was nothing else, they just kind of, had to move on to other things that they did have active, like evidence or whatever. I mean, it makes sense to a point, but this is 23 years that someone's missing. It's obvious that something happened to her, because I just can't, from what I saw, did you share any clips of her, like from when she was a kid, like just to show her personality? I know I saw a couple little clips on when I was doing my search on this. She just seemed so like ordinary and like not somebody who would just like disappear, like.
Yeah. I thought about, honestly, I thought about doing like a mini story on her or probably even doing a documentary on her and using those videos because her daughter just told me it's just because she was going to send them to me. She was just like, "Let me know when you're going to use them." So I haven't showed that part, but I think I probably should get some okay with her and then go ahead and release those videos because just your words that you just said, just so people can see her personality and to see that I think she was 17 in the video. Just think that it's 2 years later, she goes missing and nothing happens. So I think I will, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because once you see that, she's not. I mean, even if she had, like, let's just say, for example, if she had a drug problem and she ended up with the wrong crowd, and then she ends up being, transient, living on the streets or on couches or whatever, like that doesn't just happen overnight. First of all, um, I have a cousin like that. When his father passed away, all my family was trying to find him, and one person said something like, "Well, I seen him on a street, with a sign." People look for for people. They want to help, but I mean, even in those situations where it's like that, it doesn't. I mean, this just doesn't make sense, and I'm trying to like figure out a way to say it where even worst case scenario, she should be found if she did have some kind of issue like that where she left on her own, she would have been found at some point.
And that's the thing. She had no drug problem. She had none of that. None of that.
I don't know. I was looking up. I was trying to find cases where people were gone for like 20 years and were found, and I hadn't really found anything that I could share with confidence that it's actually true. When you search for stuff on the internet, it's kind of hard to figure out what's actually true. Sometimes it's misinformation that gets spread as fact. Sometimes it's completely fictitious stuff. And I don't know. I know that there have been cases where people have showed up after all these years. I know one serial killer guy. I mean, he wasn't a serial killer. He was a family annihilator. He murdered his family, wrote a letter to his church leader and said, "Hey, I did this to save my family's soul." He disappeared, started a whole new life, had a whole new family. John, oh man, I can't remember his name. But I mean, it can happen. And TJ mentioned, checking to see if there's any financial stuff that have popped up after she went missing, because that could be a good indicator that maybe she did go away. And
that's the thing. Once he looks and he sees everything, he gonna be doing the same thing you're doing. Like, there's something because I'm telling you, there is nothing that suggests when you, like I said, you got to do your research. And I've been working with the family for 4 years now. 4 years, and the sister's story has never changed. People in the area, I'm telling you, people love her. Nickname is Sweetie. Okay, people love Sweetie. Whenever they hear the name Sweetie, I'm telling you, you're always going to hear good things about Sweetie. You're not going to hear a bad. He's not going. Even if he acts around, he's not going to hear anything bad about her at all. I promise you. Like, that's just. I'm telling you, I've talked to so many friends over the years, so many acquaintances, people who knew her. So like Sierra's just. I'm telling you, there's just something special about this girl, and her case should have been at least looked into. At least, at least give it a chance.
So you did kind of mention that there were people who have mentioned they are afraid of this guy. What was his name again? Robert. What was his name again?
Robert Taylor.
Robert Taylor. So, I mean, does he have like a police record that you know of, or is it just like he's like a domestic violence type?
Oh, domestic violence. I don't think he's gonna try any men. I think he's the people that are scared of him are women. These are people that dated him and stuff like that. There are people that literally, I'm telling you, people that literally had to leave the city because they wanted to get away from him.
Like not just the neighborhood, but the entire city. Like
women. Yes, women.
And I mean, was there any like police reports or police involvement for those things?
I think he had the women's. I can't bring it. I can't. I don't think so. I think he had them so scared though. Where they wouldn't. So
Mm, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I find it. I mean, as a person, I don't like to just make accusations. But whenever you think about any type of like if you did find a body, like the first thing the police do is like, who was the last person to see them alive? I would assume it's kind of the same with the missing person, but if there isn't a body, then it's not necessarily a homicide. So it probably makes it a little bit different, but it should still fundamentally, like the logic process of investigating should kind of still be the same, right?
yeah, it definitely should. I don't know why it does. Hello.
Yeah, I can still
Yeah.
hear you.
Okay. Yeah. I don't. Yeah. It's crazy. I think like I said, once I think everything is unwrapped and it's really seen for the world, and people hear this story, they're gonna cry out the same way I am. Like, wow, really? But again, you got to think. The area, the population, and like you said, Afro Americans are less likely to be featured. That is the reason why I have my page, Missing Black People.
Mhm.
And I get harassed all the time. I get thrown racist comments because of the name. The name is the Missing Black People, the Forgotten, because I just feel as though a lot of Afro American women, men, women, and children were forgotten. And I started this page 10 years ago.
Mhm.
That's the crusade I've been on.
Yeah, I've been talking to you just for briefly, but you just seem like you got a good heart. You're not. I would imagine if somebody came to you and said, "Hey, my cousin's missing," it wouldn't matter the race. You would probably try to help them if you could.
Oh
You
yeah,
just
yeah.
seem like,
Because I've actually posted different people, especially children, on my page. So, and I've shared stuff. Well, but I know I actually have to stop sharing because Facebook has so many rules now where they penalize you. So, but yeah, I would post a whole post about that. Yeah, of course, it doesn't matter what race. If they came to me like, hey, I need you to post this, it's getting posted. Sometimes you get a couple people, why are you posting this here? Oh, we can't have anything. People are just gonna make comments. I just learned that. So
mm,
before I was just block everybody. Now it's like no, I'm just gonna let people. No, don't say anything crazy. I'm gonna live.
yeah, people are just cruel. Like if you like just on like social media in general, like you'll randomly just get somebody that comes on and just like is hateful, mean, doesn't matter what you're talking about. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you did that. I'm unsubscribing. You're a terrible person because you said this. And people, those are called trolls for a reason. They just want to come on and complain. And I would imagine, it's worse on your um, website because of the title. It's just still it's not fair that people are like that. But I do know that if you were to look up Alaska missing people,
Hmm.
there's like 3,000 people or something that go missing every single year. They just disappear,
I saw
and
that.
they just completely disappear. And sometimes it's drug related. They go to a party and vanish. Sometimes it's not. They just, they could maybe. I mean, who knows what happens? Alaska is so massive that it makes it simple.
Let me
Um,
ask you a question. Do they have bears everywhere out there? Because the way I'm thinking about Alaska, like, okay, if you go there, just going to be bears everywhere. Because I'm thinking when people go missing and they do go out the woods, and animals don't care. You know what I mean? Has that thought ever raised up in people's mind, or no?
Animal attacks definitely could be a thing. And I lived in one of the villages here in Alaska. Sorry, I'm trying to find this funny video that you mentioned bears. I gotta share it now. It's not Alaska bear, but still, I'll share that in a second. I found that. But my first week in Dillingham, Alaska, there was a grizzly bear just walking around my little house, you know. At the time, I've got both of my little kids. They're like
A
2.5
bear?
and
Wow.
9 months old, and it's just like wandering around the house. And I was like, well, maybe it's not really a grizzly. And then I actually went outside and I found the footprint, and I mean, it was bigger than my hand. And you know, a couple other people like looked at it, said, yep, that's a grizzly. I worked at the Kanakanak Hospital in Dillingham, and I resided there on the hospital property. Dillingham is not connected by the highway system, so that's a lot of Alaska is like that. You know, I live in Anchorage now, which is connected. You can drive to like Fairbanks. You can go. There's a lot of places you can go. You can drive all the way back to the U.S. from here. You just have to go through Canada, and it takes like 6 or 7 days. But most of Alaska is not connected by a roadway, and you have to fly out to all these little villages. I think the last year that I was there in Dillingham, one of the workers at the hospital, he worked in the lab, the blood lab. He was just walking outside of his house or something and got attacked by a bear and almost died. He was saved. But I mean, even people who are aware of bears can definitely get attacked. There was a TV show with I want to say her name was Jessica Swanson, but that might not be her first name. She was famous back in the 90s, but it took place in Anchorage, and she was a news reporter, and she was investigating all of these missing people from out in the villages. And I felt like that was very accurate. It's kind of the same situation where they don't get national attention because they're minorities, and it's not right. And even within that, if you're like low income families and you're white, even those families don't get shown on national news. It's usually the white middle class people that get broadcast on national news. It's the people that are attractive that attracts attention from the media. I cover the Chris Watts case on my channel a lot. And, you know, every person in that story is kind of attractive, you know, not like beautiful, but it was a white middle class family with a big house and a nice car, and everybody was, you know, attractive. And people are still talking about that case. And it's been 8 years since he murdered his family, you know. I don't know. I mean, you know, I am, you know, I'm just a guy, you know. I don't know how, I don't think I could do what you do. And, you know, I think there needs to be more people like you doing what you're doing.
You know, I hear that a lot, and it's crazy because for a while, women thought that there was a woman behind the page because I did so much. Um, it's a calling, honestly, because I'm gonna tell you the truth. So many times I've tried to, you know, run away from this type of thing, but it chose me. So you know, like I'm in it for the long haul. I'm like going forward. I want to do more. I want to do searches. You know, I want to do everything that has to do with missing persons. So yeah, it is. Some days are hard, you know, and some days I do want to take a break, but something it just draws me back. It just draws me back, and but it also helps me to stay in the world. I have kids, so I always, you know, preach to them and tell them things. And what I'd like to do going forward is like maybe, you know, speak at some public events, you know, to warn these children that the dangers of anything out here, you know, internet, you know, going missing. Don't think it can be you, you know. Just all them things. That's what I want to do, and that's why I continue to do it.
Yeah, you know, I was just talking to somebody yesterday, and they were telling me that they were watching something on YouTube about they were people walking through national forests, right? Just like family stuff, and the kids are like right behind them, and then all of a sudden they're gone, just
Yeah,
like
I saw
that.
that too. Yes, I
And
saw that
that's
too.
insane. Like, I mean, I have kids, right? One time my son and I were at a zoo, or I can't remember exactly where, but we finally found this like little kid area with like slides and stuff to climb on, but there was like hundreds of kids in there, right? And he was climbing through this tree, and then all of a sudden he was gone. And from like, I would say probably less than 2 minutes, like I started like to panic already, and I'm starting to like sweat in my brain. I'm thinking, oh my God, do I have to, what do I do? It's this weird feeling that you get when you start to panic like that. And luckily for me, I hear Daddy from behind me, and he'd somehow got out of that little area, climbed up this humongous slide behind me, and was about to slide down. And, I mean, if, just one more second, and I would have been like having them lock down the whole building. I mean, there was hundreds of kids in there. I mean, it's a scary feeling. And when I think of missing people, I think of that. And then I think of what happens after that. So you do talk to the police. You expect the police to help you. You expect to find them. But what happens if you don't? And then it gets longer and longer. And like what I felt, that tiny bit of thing, like I just can't even imagine what families feel, or friends of somebody who's missing even, I can't even imagine what it feels like to not know. I mean, it would be so horrible. And so that's why I think it's important. There are people like you who advocate for these people and help them, get their, at least try to get attention. And, the more people who know about somebody who's missing, that's why Amber Alerts work.
Right.
The more people who know somebody's missing, the more eyes are like looking, and then you might find somebody faster. And it works for missing kids a lot of times. But yeah, I just feel for these people who are missing somebody. I think they deserve to find them.
They do. They do. They definitely do. And like you said, yeah, you don't know how these people feel. Just doing the podcasts, with these families, and just hearing them talk sometimes is kind of hard, and you listen to their stories, and it's like you always see stuff like this on TV. Or I used to always see people get interviewing families on YouTube channels, and now to be doing that, and then to hear these stories, some of these stories that I've actually seen on like say an ID channel or a YouTube series, just to actually be covering these stories is just like it's surreal, So and like I said, I'm gearing up for part 2 soon. I got 12 different families ready to go. We're going to be bringing their stories, to the forefront too. Like I said, right now, season 1, The Forgotten, is up there on YouTube, and some of these stories, well, all these stories are heartbreaking, but some of these stories, when you hear it from the main players, like the people involved, not just the news headlines, when you hear it from the families themselves, is even more heartbreaking than what it is. We did have some success with finding somebody. A woman was missing since 2016. She got on the bus and went to Florida and was gone till 2025. Somebody saw our broadcast and they located her in a hospital, and she relocated with her family. That happened a few months back. So that's what I want out of it. I want some kind of resolution. Not all resolutions are going to be good. You're going to have some bad ones, but either way, some kind of information for these families. I'm not going to say closure. Answers. That's what I'll say. Because you never get closure no matter what.
Do you remember the name of that one?
Yes, Tasha Joy Heyman.
Yeah. Like that's like I mean, hearing that, they found someone and they were alive and they reunited, like that makes you feel good. And I know that it's rare, but I'm gonna have to look that up. That was Tasha.
Yeah, Tasha Joe. If you actually if you see a post, there was a post on my page, Missing Black People page, Facebook, where I think I put like I said, I put prayers to the missing, and I said, yeah, prayers to the missing during the holidays. Tasha's sister posted a picture of her and her on FaceTime. If you see that post, it's on Missing Black People page. Yeah, her name is Tasha Joy. It's Tasha Joy Haynes. Matter of fact, I have the podcast that I put in this. Let me put it in there again. I have that podcast we did before she was found. Where's that at? This is right. Yeah, Tasha Joy Haynes. She was 35. Because she missed her mother's funeral and everything.
I think I found it actually.
Okay, you might have, yeah, did you
She
find
was
it?
35 years old at the time of her disappearance. She weighed. You've got her weight on here. Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. She went missing in July of 2012. She got on a bus in Syracuse, New York. She went to Miami, Florida. She called home stating that she got off on the wrong stop, which ended up being Winter Park, Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And then May 2013 records showed she was living in an assisted living facility. And that facility closed in 2019. And then there was if you have any information about this, please call 911. But you did find her?
Yes, yes. And see, she suffers from schizophrenia and a couple other different things. So when she got on that bus, she intended to go to the first place, but she ended up somewhere else. Now she was living in that facility, but they lost contact. And like you said, it closed in 2019, but the last contact what they had with her was in 2016. So they figured, hey, she was still living there. If you watch the podcast, I think you probably have a lot more information because the sister and the son they were telling the story.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mental illness can play a part in a lot of these missing persons cases, and they get, those cases get ignored, and they still deserve to be found as well. I imagine, I hope that she's got medication and she's doing well, and she's,
Well, from the
still.
picture, from the picture she just showed, it seems like she's doing good. Let me see if I can
Mhm.
find that real quick. I can, yeah. Cause I just posted that probably like I'm gonna say at least 10 hours ago. That post.
While you're looking for that, I'm going to play something that's a little funny, guys, and it has to do with bears. And it's one of those videos. I'm not sure if it's AI, but I just got to share it because I watched it probably 50 times and laughed so much. Let me just share that while you look for that thing. Well, I thought I could. Yep. Can you guys see that? Nope, not yet. There we go. So you guys are ready for this? I'll let it play a couple times. You're not going to believe what happens.
This lady's making me so mad. I,
I just can't imagine. Like I live in Anchorage, right? And I was living kind of on the outside of town where it's like kind of foresty. And we had this like huge grassy area. And we put up this like above ground pool, and a bear got in it and was swimming around for a couple minutes and then left. It was kind of crazy, but this is just hilarious.
That's not the little boy in the bear, is it right?
The video on the what do you mean?
I thought you were talking about the video where the bear happened to chase the little boy into the store.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
No, that wasn't AI. People thought that was AI. That was not AI. That actually happened.
I saw one that has to be AI of a girl getting. She was riding an alligator. Oops, where did we go? There we go. Yeah, she was riding like an alligator out of her like front door, and then her parents were like chasing her out the door trying to get her. But then I started thinking, well, who was videotaping this? Because like the angle was down here, and she comes out of the house that way and
Yeah, it's
runs.
probably AI.
That's got to be AI.
Yeah.
But this one, I think it's legitimate. I think a bear was in the backyard. Just it looks real. I don't see any like weird artifacts of like an extra leg or anything. But bears, they will like get in your stuff. If you live in certain places where there's actually more bears, they make you lock your garbage cans, the lids, because they'll get in there and just like eat your trash. And then you have the risk of, if you walk out your front door, you could get attacked. I think I've seen more moose in my neighborhood, and they're actually more dangerous than bears. Where I live now, and like if you're like around a horse, they if you go behind a horse, they can kick you, but a moose can actually kick forward. So they're even more dangerous, especially when you startle them. But yeah, if you got that video, I'll play it. But I think I'm kind of running out of time here.
You say you're running out of time? Okay. Yeah, I couldn't find it. I have to find it. It's on there, though. I have her inbox, so I can definitely get a hold of her. Her name was Tasha Joy Haynes.
Okay, I did put the link to your Spotify, and I'll put these links that you listed here for me in the description, so people can go back and check out your channel. Because you have a Facebook and a YouTube, right?
Yes, and we're
And
also
web.
on. I'm sorry. Yeah, we also on Facebook as Unsolved. Unsolved and Missing Black People.
All right. Well, Klein, I enjoyed having you on the show. I'm sorry we had such bad technical difficulties, but I think we will be able to revisit this and not have those same issues.
Oh yeah, it'll get better next time. I'm actually looking forward to talking to you now. Since like I've gotten comfortable and talking to you, there are a lot more that we could talk about. And even you said you had some things we could talk about. Yes, I'll be that. I'm definitely down with that. Every week doing something.
All right. Yeah. If you ever need help, like with any kind of research too, you can always email me too. I'm always interested in hear about things. I do typically cover more like murders rather than missing persons, but I think sometimes it's better to I don't know. At least lately, I've been having this issue where I get like I think about a true crime case, and then I cringe and I don't do the work because I've said it 1,000 times. Secondary trauma is real. When you hear these stories, you read about these stories, you internalize these stories, it affects you. And I've been doing this for a while now, and it's starting to get a little heavier on me. So
yeah, because I had a case for you. I had a case for you too. You talk about you did murder. Yeah, I had one out in North Carolina. Her name was Tay Williams. She was found shot 19 times.
Oh man.
Yes.
there's a case. I can't talk about it on YouTube because it's listed as she unalived herself. But her name is Helen Greenberg, I want to say.
Yeah,
But somehow
I'll never believe that.
I don't think she did it to herself at all. I can't.
I'll never believe that. I'll never believe that. You can never.
I wish I could talk about it on Facebook. I mean, on YouTube, but they'll block it, make it, not suitable for ads and all of that stuff.
Oh,
just
wow.
because it's like officially listed as what it's listed as. But they just had a new medical examiner look at that autopsy report and go through everything, and then they found 3 more stab wounds, and still say, it's like, somebody shooting themselves twice. Like, that doesn't happen. It's like, there's no way you could do that. I mean, even if you could, like, I think after like the 10th time, you're going to start losing fluids and you get woozy,
Yeah.
It just baffles my mind. I think the city doesn't want it to come out that it was intentional. I mean, that somebody else did it. Hey, Tori, sorry you missed the show, but we had a bunch of technical difficulties anyway.
It was still a good show, though. It was still a good show. I loved it. That's just this time. Next time we won't have any. We're going to be good.
Yep. But guys, thanks for being here. I do appreciate it. If you can, go back and rewatch it or let it play, and share it with your friends, that would be great. Go check out Klein's websites and his Spotify and his YouTube channel. I'll be posting the links in there. And hope you guys have a good rest of your Sunday.